The Harper family was excited to move into their new home. It was an old cottage, but spacious with high ceilings and large windows. The only thing that stood out from the rest was the bathroom mirror. It was massive, with a tarnished frame decorated with intricate carvings. "It's pretty gloomy, isn't it?" said Laura, the mother of the family, examining the mirror as they unpacked. "We can replace it," answered her husband Michael. But deep down, Laura felt that something was wrong with the mirror. The first night, when everyone went to bed, Laura heard a sound coming from the bathroom. It was a soft, intermittent sobbing, like someone was crying. She sat up in bed, listening. "Michael, can you hear that?" she whispered, but her husband was fast asleep. Gathering her courage, Laura went into the bathroom. The door was ajar, and a faint moonlight was streaming in from inside. She went inside and turned on the light. The bathroom was empty, but when Laura went to the mirror, she thought she saw something move in the depths of the reflection. She froze, trying to peer, but saw only her own reflection. "Just tired," she muttered, turning off the light. But the sobbing continued every night, and every night it became louder. Laura noticed more and more often that the mirror was behaving strangely. One morning, while washing her face, she noticed how the reflection of her eyes seemed to tremble slightly, although she herself was not crying. She looked more closely and realized tears were rolling down her cheeks in the reflection. "What the?" she whispered, taking a step back. Her own face remained calm, but the reflection was clearly crying. Laura tried to touch her face, but the movements in the mirror did not repeat perfectly. It was lagging, as if the mirror had become a separate being. Over time, the mirror began to live its own life. Sometimes, passing by the bathroom, Laura saw someone's silhouette appear in the reflection. It was a woman with long, disheveled hair, but as soon as the light was turned on, she disappeared. The nights became more and more disturbing. The sobs coming from the bathroom now sounded like a voice, a woman's whisper, repeating the words, "Help, let me go." Laura tried to convince herself that it was just fatigue and nerves, but each night it made it more and more real. One night she couldn't take it anymore. Hearing the mirrors seem to be scraping from the inside, Laura went into the bathroom. In the reflection, she saw her face, but now it was distorted in agony. Her reflection was knocking on the glass from the inside, silently screaming, "You, not me." Laura whispered, feeling a chill run down her spine. Exo spoke up. The mirror began to tremble, as if it wanted to let something out. That night, Laura could no longer ignore the mirror. It seemed to beckon her, to pull her towards it. She walked into the bathroom without turning on the light. The moonlight streaming through the window illuminated the mirror. Her reflection stood inside, but it no longer moved in sync with her. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice shaking. He prayed he looked healthy. The reflection raised its head. A pained smile froze on its face, and its eyes glistened as if filled with tears. "I want to live," it whispered, but the sound came not from the mirror, but from her own head. The mirror shook, and cracks appeared on its surface. Laura tried to step back, but her legs refused to move. Her reflection stepped closer to the glass, and then, with a terrifying crack, it extended its hand out. "No!" Laura breathed out, but the reflection's hands grabbed her shoulders. She felt an icy chill that penetrated her bones. Her body became heavy, and she could not resist. Her reflection slowly crawled out of the mirror, its movements unnatural, as if it was learning to move in a new world. Laura felt herself being pulled inward. Her legs, then her arms, and finally her face disappeared behind the glass. The last thing she saw was her reflection taking a familiar pose, adjusting her hair in front of the mirror and smiling at her new reflection. Laura was inside now. Her own reflection was looking at her from the outside, living her life, and she was left locked in the cold, dark emptiness of the mirror world. The next morning, Michael noticed that Laura looked different. Her smile was a little wider, her voice was softer, but there was a strange coldness in it. The mirror in the bathroom no longer made any sounds, but if you look closely, you can sometimes notice a faint shadow, desperately knocking from within.